Okay, so if you think humanoid robots are still some far-off sci-fi dream, you need to reset your calendar. We're not talking about the distant future. We're talking about right now, this year. The robot revolution just got very, very real.
And look, this means the whole conversation has completely shifted. We're done with those cool but kinda useless viral videos of robots dancing. No, we are now talking about actual robots doing actual work on real, messy factory floors, starting today.
All right, so let's get into the first big idea here, which is kind of wild when you think about it. For years, right? We've all seen those amazing videos of robots walking, dancing, doing backflips. And yeah, it looks incredible. But it turns out that's been a bit of a great deception. Because all that stuff, that's the easy part.
You see, there's a huge difference between walking and working. Walking, the stuff we see in demos, that's a performance. It's done in a clean, staged lab, basically built to go viral on social media. But working, that's happening on a real, unpredictable factory floor. It's not about looking impressive, it's about being useful. And making that leap from a cool demo to actually completing a task on its own, that's the hard part. The part they've finally cracked.
And that's where Boston Dynamics Atlas comes in. This thing is not just walking around looking cool for the camera. It is in a factory right now, picking up car parts, figuring out how to organize them, and making its own decisions. Get this, it can learn a totally new, complex job in just 48 hours. And then, it can do that job perfectly, thousands and thousands of times. That is the insane leap we're talking about.
So you might be wondering, how in the world did Boston Dynamics get so far ahead of everyone else? I mean, we hear about Tesla's Optimus and others, right? Well, the answer's pretty simple, a 30-year head start. They basically built a competitive moat around their tech that's, well, for now, it's almost impossible for anyone else to cross.
And I love this analogy. It just nails the difference perfectly. Think of other robots as these slick, futuristic concept cars. They look amazing at the auto show, but you're never going to actually drive one. Atlas is a Toyota Camry. It's not flashy, it's not trying to blow your mind with its looks. It's designed to just show up day after day and do the boring, repetitive work that actually gets the job done. It's a workhorse.
And this huge lead they have, it really boils down to them absolutely mastering three super difficult things. First, mobility. We're talking navigating a real, messy factory, not some perfectly flat lab floor. Second, manipulation. Its hands are incredible. They can grip weirdly shaped objects with exactly the right amount of pressure. And finally, the big one, the AI, the brain. It's powered by Google's DeepMind, which lets it learn new jobs just by watching, kind of like how we learn.
But okay, here is the secret weapon that almost nobody is talking about. Modularity. What does that mean? It means Atlas is built kind of like Legos. If a part breaks, you don't send the whole robot away for weeks. You just swap out the broken piece right there on the factory floor. In manufacturing, where every minute of downtime costs a fortune, being able to fix something in minutes instead of weeks, that's not just an advantage, it's a total game changer.
But don't get me wrong, this isn't just the Boston Dynamics show. There's a really serious competitor out there called Figure, and what they're doing proves this whole thing is real. They are catching up, and they are catching up fast, which is just heating up this whole race.
And you don't have to take my word for it, the proof is right here in the data. Just look at these numbers from Figure's robot working at a BMW plant. Over 90,000 parts loaded, more than 1,200 hours of runtime. And look at this, placement accuracy over 99%. But the killer stat, the one that really matters, zero. Zero human interventions needed per shift. This isn't a test anymore, folks. This is real-world performance.
And what's even more impressive, I think, is how quickly they're learning from their mistakes. They found out that the forearm was the weak spot on their Figure 02 model. It was the part that failed the most. So what did they do? They've already completely re-engineered it for the next version, Figure 03. That's how you get to commercial scale, by iterating that fast. It proves they are absolutely serious about this.
Okay, so the technology is real, it works, it's being deployed. Now we have to talk about the uncomfortable part. The math. If these robots can do all this work, what happens to the millions of people who are doing that work right now? It's a question we absolutely cannot ignore anymore.
And listen, this isn't just some abstract, futuristic fear. This is a real quote from a real person on Reddit right after the Atlas announcement. Yay, more people are going to be out of work. This makes me very uncomfortable. And that just captures it perfectly, doesn't it?
It's this weird mix of awe at the technology and deep anxiety about what it means for us. And you know what? That discomfort is completely justified.
To really grasp the scale of what's happening, let's just put a number on it. 30,000. That's how many Atlas robots Hyundai is planning to build every single year. They're not just testing a few, they're building a factory to mass produce them. And those robots are going straight to work on their assembly lines 24/7.
And this is where we get to the heart of that uncomfortable math. You know, you always hear the optimistic argument. Oh, don't worry, new jobs will be created. And sure, some will. But the ratio is what's worrying. For every, say, 100 factory jobs that a robot takes over, we might create, 10 new jobs for robot technicians or programmers? That's the problem. What happens to the other 90 people?
And please, don't make the mistake of thinking this is just about car factories. That's just the beginning. The second you have a reliable robot that's shaped like a human and can work in places built for humans, the list of industries at risk just explodes. Warehousing, construction, retail, food service, delivery, cleaning, all of it. Suddenly, it's all on the table for automation.
So this thing that has felt like an abstract threat for so long, it's about to get very, very concrete. In fact, based on the pace we're seeing right now, we can actually lay out a pretty plausible timeline for how the next few years are going to play out.
Okay, here's how the next 5 years could shake out. We're in phase 1 right now, 2025 to 2026. This is the deployment phase. The first wave of robots is hitting the factory floors. Then, starting around 2027, we enter the acceleration phase. The cost of these robots starts to drop, and you'll see them moving into logistics, warehouses, maybe even retail. And then, from 2029 on, we hit what you could call the reckoning. That's when millions of physical jobs could be automated, and we as a society are forced to have a very real, very mainstream conversation about stuff like universal basic income.
If you're looking for the perfect way to think about this, here it is. This is the GPT-4 moment for robotics. You remember with AI, right? There were years of clunky chatbots, and then suddenly, bam, GPT-4 arrived, and it was good enough for everyone to use. That's where we are with humanoid mobots right now. We're past the clunky demos. The technology is finally good enough for real deployment, which means it's good enough to create real value and real disruption.
So, where does all this leave us? Where does it leave you? Because this train is leaving the station, whether we're ready for it or not. And when you're faced with a shift this big, you really only have 3 choices, 3 ways to respond.
And here they are, your move. Option 1 is to ignore it. Stick your head in the sand and just hope your job is safe. Option 2 is to panic. Just doom scroll all day about the robot apocalypse, which, let's be honest, doesn't help anyone. Or there's option 3, adapt. Start thinking now about how to build skills that a robot can't do, at least not yet. Creative skills, strategic thinking, problem solving, the stuff that's uniquely human.
Look, the takeaway here is simple. The robots aren't coming anymore. They're here. Boston Dynamics is shipping them. Figure has proven the concept in the real world. So the only real question left is the personal one. What are you going to do about it? And I'll leave you with this to chew on. What job in your industry, in your town, do you think gets automated first? Really think about it.